Okay, round 4 of the 2025 NRL season has now concluded. Some very interesting results. We've only got one undefeated team left in the competition and two teams yet to record their first win. So far, it has been a season where anyone can beat anyone, which is a good, healthy sign for the league, in my opinion. And the league leaders right now, for me, is a little bit of a surprise, but at the same time, it's a good sign for the league, as I say. But as I say, also two teams are yet to record a win, and that we're already a month in. That is concerning. So let's break down all the results. The Rabbitohs Panthers 28-18 to the Bunnies. Good solid start for the Bunnies under Wayne Bennett. Yes, we knew they would be better with Wayne Bennett as head coach, but the start they've had to the season with only the one defeat, really good signs considering they haven't even got their strongest lineup available. So it's really good signs how that every player has raised the level of their game and improved. The Panthers, on the other hand, defensively there are some massive concerns here. Is this the season that the Panthers slip back a little bit and they don't win 5 in a row? But it's a long way to go yet, but it is a very disappointing and concerning start for the Panthers so far this season. Only winning in Vegas. Since Vegas, they've lost. And they have, yes, they've got some injuries, but they've not been convincing. The Melbourne Storm matchup last week was a really good litmus test, but outside of that, they haven't played well. Whereas the Bunnies have played really well to start the 2025 season. Let's see how far the Bunnies can go with this run of form. They might completely bounce back and make the top 8. I still think it's too early to judge that, but the Panthers are showing some warning signs that all is not well in Penrith. And the Bunnies are showing that, hey, there's a bit more life left in Redfern. The Roosters Titans, 12 points to the Roosters, 30 points to the Titans. There are some really, really concerning signs for the Roosters this season. The Titans, refreshing to see them finally get their attack to click and Des Hasler's message to get across. And AJ Brimson and Jaden Campbell is an inspired move by Des Hasler to get them as the halves partnership and getting them developing and moving them from both the fullback role. Because they've got too many fullbacks and not enough halves, so it's an interesting one how they've switched positions and they're evolving as a partnership. The Titans have the ability to attack, but defensively their numbers are really good so far. Compared to last season, it's chalk and cheese. They really struggled to start last season, and there were question marks over the appointment of Des Hasler and would the Titans do anything? They're starting this season really well. The Roosters, on the other hand, have already had a 50-point defeat to start their season. They are struggling, the Roosters. They look vulnerable as well. I'm getting 2016 vibes with this Roosters side. I have some concerns. Much like the Panthers, they've been very disappointing to start the 2025 season. The Titans, refreshing to see them doing well. So it's refreshing to see the Titans competitive, which is a good sign for the health of the league. The Dolphins Broncos 12-20. The Broncos win. Dolphins lose again. Dolphins winless. Concerning. This is a concern now. The pressure's on Tristan Wolfe. The Broncos, I've got no concerns about the Broncos so far, but I'm getting similar vibes to previous seasons with the Broncos. But Michael Maguire, there was people not sold on that appointment of Michael Maguire to the Broncos head coaching role. He's vindicated himself, and they're having a very, very good start to the season, and they've bounced back really well from a couple of disappointing seasons. So let's see how the Broncos go to Origin. But the Dolphins, they're in serious trouble. This is getting into must-win territory every week now. They've already given up 4 straight losses to start the season, and they're already that far behind their rivals. They've given up. They've got to make the 8 or to get in contention. They've just got to win a lot now, and every game is becoming must-win. So there's a lot of pressure now on Tristan Wolfe, and a lot of pressure on the players because it's becoming must-win territory. Very concerning start for the Dolphins. The Dragons Storm. Now this was a game that I did predict would go the Dragons' way. It's finished 14 points to 8 to the Dragons. I felt Shane Flanagan could pull a upset over a Craig Bellamy side. He's done it in the 2016 Grand Final. He has that ability. And the Dragons have shown flashes that they are better than their form suggests with their results. They finally get it clicking together. Now, a lot of the games this weekend were impacted by the weather. It has rained a lot. Maybe that suited the Dragons having those changeable conditions, those damp, slippery conditions. But the Storm have had a loss there. And the Storm did show some vulnerabilities against the Panthers in the last round. The Dragons have shown promise, and then they've just got their game management wrong. They finally get it to click, and they record their first win of the season, relieves some of the pressure. But they've had a bye round in there, but it relieves some of the pressure on the Dragons and can give them a lot of confidence. With a lot of their new signings and combinations will give them confidence. Cowboys Raiders 30 points to 20. The Cowboys finally get their first win of the season. Again, that eases the pressure up in Townsville. Raiders, this is about where we expected the Raiders to be. The Raiders had a great start to the season, winning the first 2 games. They've lost the last 2. This is about where we thought the Raiders would be. A 500 side, as you would say, winning and losing in equal measure. They're a mid-table side. They're in a rebuild. They're a young and experienced team. And as a Raiders fan, I was expecting this to be a rebuilding season. I wasn't expecting them to make the 8. They've had a good start to the season. They've lost the last 2. I'm not panicking too much as a Raiders fan. It is good to see the Cowboys finally get that first win of the season, get that pressure off them a little bit, build some confidence. They've got some really exciting attacking players at the Cowboys. It's refreshing seeing them get that first win. Now, can they build some momentum, because they have given a head start to their rivals by losing their first 3 games of the season. Another fancied side having a disappointing weekend is the Sharks. 6, Bulldogs 20. The Bulldogs are the only unbeaten side left in the competition. They've won 4 games in a row. Who would have had money on that to start the season? The Bulldogs haven't had a good start to a season like this for a long time. Very long time since the Bulldogs were this dominant to start a season. Unbeaten. The Sharks, they're a bit of an enigma. They can be a bit inconsistent. It is early on in the season, so I'm not saying Sharks fans should panic. Look, the Storm have laid a bit of a duck egg this weekend. The Panthers have had a disappointing start to the season. So I'm not saying Sharks fans should just suddenly panic, but disappointing at home to concede 20 points and lose. The Bulldogs, Cameron Ciraldo, it's now looking like an inspired coaching appointment to put Ciraldo in as head coach a couple of seasons ago. There were question marks over his experience and the team he was inheriting, but last year he's also proved that wasn't a fluke. A lot of people saying last year's a one-off, they can't replicate that. They're unbeaten to start the season. They're the only unbeaten side. They're top of the ladder. Do I expect the Bulldogs to remain there come the season's end? Probably not. But they are defying expectations. They are, I think, definitely one of the most improved sides over the last couple of years. I think Cameron Ciraldo's done a great job. And look, they fully deserve to be top of the ladder. They've had some tough matches where they have been tested. And they're building confidence every week. The Sharks, as I said, the Sharks is a bit of an enigma. They need to get that consistency a little bit better if they want to challenge and stay in the top 4 and challenge for it and make that next step to a grand final. I think there's still room for improvement with the Sharks, but the Bulldogs, if they can get a confident run going, this could be a very good season for the Bulldogs, and they can get back to where they belong. Where this is a side that's struggled for many years, been down the bottom the last season and this season so far. They're changing the narrative, and it's refreshing to see a new team at the top of the ladder for the first time in many years. The Sea Eagles 26-12. Tough week for the Sea Eagles with the DC East contract saga, and the Eels with the Dylan Brown contract saga. This has been a tough couple of weeks for both clubs. The Sea Eagles, however, despite what's happening off the field, put in another good performance at home, outscoring 26 points, another solid win. We'll find out where DCE signs. He's not staying at Manly, that's for sure. The Eels, however, also winless to start the season. Now, performances have started to somewhat improve. They still can't win. Defensively, still some concerns there. Attack, one of the worst attacks in the league. So they are struggling, the Eels. They are struggling. Dylan Brown, a lot of spotlight on his performances because of that contract he signed for the Knights for next year. And yes, the Eels do have a lot of players out injured. Their season's already a write-off. I think their season's gone at this point. Much like the Dolphins, they're not going to make the 8. Mitch Moses, we don't know exactly when he's going to be back. It could be anywhere from another couple of weeks to another 8 weeks, 2 to 8 weeks. We don't have a full time frame, but their season's gone at this point. That's gone. They are in trouble. The Sea Eagles, it's going to be interesting to see because Tom Trbojevic has gone off with a knee injury and MCL, but they still win the game. But there's some injury concerns for the Sea Eagles coming out of this game. They've now lost a couple of key players to injury. So it's going to be an interesting one for the Sea Eagles if they can carry this momentum on with all the off-field dramas and all the speculation around DCE and the media speculation and how that impacts the playing group. So far, they're sticking together, but this could be make or break for the Sea Eagles. This could unite the team as this is the world against us, and they have the ability to be not only a top four side but a grand final and a premiership winning side. They have the pieces. So this could unite the players as this is us against them, or it could derail their season. But so far they are dealing with the DCE fallout rather well. Eagles, however, I think they're going to be one of the sides battling to avoid a wooden spoon. They are in serious trouble. And the final game of the weekend was the Tigers against the Warriors. The Tigers losing narrowly at home 24-26 in very testing conditions at Campbelltown against the Warriors. To be fair, I have no concerns about the Tigers this season. They've won 2, they've lost 2, but they're not overly concerning me. It's early on in the season. The Warriors, again, not overly concerned with the Warriors either. They've had a very, very, very good start to the season following that defeat in Vegas. What is interesting is out of the Vegas games, the Warriors have actually performed the best so far in the first month. So those teams that went to Vegas, the Warriors have the best record. They lost in Vegas. Since then, they have not looked back. They've been very, very solid. They're 3-1. They're in the top 4. Whereas the Sharks are 2-2. The Raiders are 2-2. The Raiders won in Vegas. The Sharks lost. And the Panthers are 1-3. So it's very interesting to see the post-Vegas form of the 4 sides that played in Vegas this year. And I would be very intrigued to look at the post-Vegas form of the sides that played last year as well. It'd be very, very interesting to see how that first month of the season went. Considering look what happened to the Broncos last year. They had some indifferent form and then really fell off a cliff. The Roosters did make the top 8. The Sea Eagles did make the top 8. The Bunnies missed the top 8 and also were down the bottom of the table. So it's going to be interesting to see if there's a Vegas hangover effect and a few seasons down the line how it impacts teams' form, not only for the first month but for the whole season. Now the Knights had the bye this round. And so, as I say, the table is starting to look, the NRL ladder is starting to look very, very interesting. The Bulldogs, as I say, are the only unbeaten side. They are top of the NRL ladder. The Eels and Dolphins are in serious trouble. They remain winless. But there are some sides who've had some very surprising starts to the season. The Bunnies in a positive, the Panthers in a negative. The Titans has been a positive start for the season. Cowboys finally getting that first win. A bit of a surprise that they've waited a month to win a game. The Warriors are coming off the back of that loss in Vegas, 3 straight wins near the top. The Tigers, solid start to the season. And so it's a nice shake-up. It's looking a little bit different to start the first month. Long way to go, but there we go. That's the first month of the NRL season in the books. Thank you very much for watching. Place your thoughts in the comment section below. And I will have some more content for you all very, very soon.